Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on this grand adventure with me. I'd like to start with just a little story, a little anecdote. Some of you guys may have heard this before. When I started teaching. I have done other teaching online at times, but I started teaching online in earnest on April 1st of this year. Imagine that. And toward the end of April, we started teaching a beginner class, and it was a bit of a complicated class. We had 15 to 18 students with 5 teachers, and we spent a lot of time in breakout rooms. It was a mixed level intro 1 and 2 level class. And we had started out the class, everyone was together, and I told everyone that we were going to go in breakout rooms, and I had just constructed breakout rooms. And as I was reaching to click the button saying open breakout rooms, my internet died. It just totally, actually it was I have this problem with my computer spontaneously rebooted. And oh my gosh, I was just sweating, like, hurry, start up again, log in again, get my screen up again, get my Zoom up again, log back in. And when I got back, everybody was just fine. They were just sitting there and chatting, and it was, I said, oh, I'm so sorry. It's okay, teacher. Okay, teacher. It's okay. It's fine. They were totally fine. And it is the only time my computer has spontaneously rebooted in the middle of class, but I have lost my internet or mixed up slides. And you know what the students' reaction is? It's okay, teacher. So I wanted to start off with that because technical things will happen, and sometimes they're not only technical things. Sometimes they're operator error or user error, whatever. And you know what? Our students are going to be just fine, and our co-teachers too. So just keep that in mind. All right. With that, I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. So we're going to be together for 4 hours, not all today, which you may be thankful for. We'll have our 4 one-hour sessions, as you know. We're going to start with the very basics, navigating around Zoom. We're going to talk a lot about teacher tools, and we're going to practice as much as possible. I'm going to have you guys going into breakout rooms and practice what we're talking about. Building an effective lesson. I have lots of sample lessons. We're going to talk about sample lessons in each workshop, and teaching with breakout rooms, and some basic troubleshooting, which often happens when one among us has a problem with something, and we walk through what the possible solutions are to it. At any time you want to ask questions, raise your physical hand or your virtual hand, or interrupt me. If you have a question, chances are that probably somebody else in the group has a question also, right? For today, we're going to start with navigation of the student screen. Your students will be seeing what you are seeing right now. We'll talk about toggling back and forth and sharing and seeing faces while someone is sharing their screen, and then we'll go into a sample lesson. Today might seem very basic. If you have already been teaching online, or you've been spending time as the host online, today might seem very basic. But as with most things, it's really important to get the basics really, really solid and comfortable before we build too much on top of that. And so that's what today is about. All right. So we're going to start with the student screen. A lot of this was in the pre-work, but I just want to make sure in our actual session that everyone's comfortable doing it. So please try doing these things. Toggle back and forth between full screen and regular screen. So you have that button in the top right hand, the little square in the top right hand corner of your screen. Try muting and unmuting yourself. see all the little.
In the place I can't find it to make my screen small because your
Yeah,
so what do I?
everything's hidden.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Now I can do that.
So Linda, which one is that?
The full screen,
Yeah.
regular screen is the top right-hand corner of your
Okay.
screen.
Okay.
And then try the speaker view, gallery view.
Linda, to toggle, are there toggle keys or do you just mean click?
I just
When you
mean
say-
click.
Okay.
I just mean click. I think when you go back and forth as toggling, maybe that's not right.
So with the gallery view, you see everybody on the screen who is participating.
Mhm.
Okay.
And you can see that other people are going back and forth between gallery view and speaker view, and it's not affecting you. So as much as we would like to control exactly what our students are seeing, we can't. I believe speaker view is the default. All right, and video on and off?
Okay, stop video.
Stop
When
video.
would you do that?
If you have to do something embarrassing.
Okay.
You have to let your dog out.
Let the dog out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
this would be, our students would be doing this, right? We're teaching them so they can turn off if they had to walk away or something. Or,
Right.
like you said, blow their nose.
Right.
Or,
Often it's a matter of asking them to turn it on and being able to describe to them, right, how to do that. We'll talk about how much to teach our students with technology. It's an
Okay.
interesting question. Okay, everybody good with those things?
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Now I'd like you to go into chat and send us a message, please.
Oops. I lost everybody.
Do you see us now? Did you get us back?
Yeah. Oops.
Okay.
So is everybody able to send a message and see everybody else's messages?
Yeah.
No. And I'm working from an iPad, and I think the command set may look a little different. So I had it once, but I don't have it now.
If you, do you see the chat window?
No.
If you go up to the top of your screen, on the right-hand side, you'll see the three little dots.
The more? Yes.
More, if you click more, then you'll find chat in there.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Linda, I have a question about the chat feature.
Yes.
When I click on to, my options are everyone or you. Are those always the only options? There's no way to message an individual student through chat?
That's a really good question. Thank you, Gina. As the host, I have the ability to message individuals. I can send a message to any individual that I want to.
Okay, only the host can do that?
Zoom has the capability of allowing anybody to message individually. So
okay.
Depending on the Zoom setup, you can set it up so that anyone can message anyone.
Okay.
Personally, as one part of, and we're going to talk about security a lot later, but as one of my security settings, I do not allow my students to message one another. Once you know students and you know who's in your room, it's not probably a risk at all, but it's just something else that I don't want to have to worry about who is sending who messages about what.
So you have it set up. You have it set up right now, so we can message everyone, or we can message you alone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. The other thing, this is a good time maybe to stop and talk about technology and what we're teaching our students, because chat has the potential to be a big distraction.
Yeah.
So if students are trying to message one another, it's time that, unless that's part of the activity that you have them engaged in, that's probably something that's a distraction. It's a time that they're not focused on, what you want them to be focused on. And of course, one of the hardest things in teaching online is directing our students' attention to where we want them to focus. We can't point, we can't see necessarily where they're looking. We can't get them to come up to the board and focus and participate that way. And so in my mind, the fewer distractions, the better. Not everyone was on the call yet when I said earlier, asked whether you like the doorbell or don't like the doorbell, thumbs up, and I did a physical thumbs up or thumbs down. So this is a good point. If you go into your reactions and try, it gives you the two options, I think, thumbs up or clapping hands. So you can go ahead and try
Linda,
those
how
out.
long does that stay up, the reactions?
Well, watch. Let's see.
Oh,
Very long.
okay, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, it goes away by itself.
Her hand came up.
So can you help me find reactions?
Okay.
Are you on a computer or on a tablet?
I'm on a computer.
So down at the bottom, the menu bar that's down at the bottom, you should have that option.
Oh, mine just says more.
Okay.
If you hover over the base of the screen, Zoom screen, that's where mine are.
That's something else, by the way, that you can turn on or off. You can set in Zoom settings, you can set that bar to always be there so that you don't have to hover over it to get it to come up all the time.
And Linda, is that an individual setting or is that a meeting setting?
That's I believe it's an individual setting that you can set up from within the application.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we have those reactions. Some of my students have found them and used them, but I have not taught any of my students about those reactions because this is so easy, and the reactions button doesn't add value really. Some of them like it, or Ron's clapping. Yeah, I can see really easily. It's more personal to me. Anything that we can do to make our interactions personal is good. I don't need to use technology for technology's sake. And so if students find that and they want to use it, great. But otherwise, I'm happy with this, with the physical.
All right, Linda, I have a question.
Yeah.
When I did the chat, I put hi, Linda. Now, do you have to push something to send that, or do you just do it on chat and it shows up?
Just if you say hi, Linda, and click enter, then it goes in.
Okay, so mine didn't go in. Mine went to everyone and it says hi, Linda. But you mean, where do you click enter?
It's return.
On your keyboard.
Yeah, I just click return. Yeah.
Return.
Oh, on my keyboard, not with my mouse.
Right.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Just click return and we should be able to see that. If you still sent it. Jess asked a question about, do I teach students how to pin video? I don't know what that means.
So when I am in, I guess it would be, when I'm in speaker view, whoever's mic is active is the face in front, like the big picture. And then so when I go to my online yoga class, I pin the video. This is an option on the little snapshot of your picture, Linda, and then you're the teacher. So I'm like, oh, I just want to see you. So so it sounds like you might not use that. That's the pin video.
Interesting. No, I haven't used that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't used
Okay.
that.
Can I say, I've used it as a teacher if there's a student that's speaking and I want to make sure everyone sees them. But, you know, again, as soon as somebody else makes noise, the camera view might change. So I might have I might pin a student so that I can still see them no matter who's coughing or making other noises.
Right, that's a good point, good point. Okay, one more thing, if you click on your participants button, you'll see more possible options. You can say yes or no, slower, faster. If you click the 3 dots for more, you can even signal that you're going to get a cup of coffee, I suppose.
How can I change my name on that list?
Either on that list or on your little video box, either way. If you hover on your name, then to the right of your name, you'll see a more box. And if you click on that more box, you'll have a rename option. Find it?
Yeah.
Great. And as a host, I can change my name and I can also change your name.
My daughter's name on here.
Right, something else to play with.
What does that mean?
Why would you want to change a student's name?
Oh, very often actually, students come in and they're using their child's account, for example. So I have a student named Oksana and her box always comes up saying Audrey. And I know that her name is Oksana, but the other students don't necessarily. So I'll change it to Audrey. Or they'll come up with their initials or with their phone number, or it actually happens a remarkable percentage of the time that people come up with not their names. And I have not taught my students to change their own name. I just change it. It's just easy.
When you're working with internationals, that could happen often, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even some locals might, their video screen might say something like Oregon Bee Girl or, something like that.
Question. I have all those commands on the right-hand side of my screen. So if I hit yes, if I hit yes, what does that do to you? Does that say something to you that I don't see?
Try it.
Well, I'm
clicking. Oh yeah. So in my participants box, you have, it showed that you had a check mark, that you had the yes.
Oh, just to you.
Did anybody else see it?
Everybody can see it.
Everybody but me. Oh, okay.
So everybody, including you.
I don't see my where. I don't
in your participants box.
Right. I hit yes, but I don't.
And if you see your name, scroll till you see your name in the participants box.
Oh, I'm in the wrong. Okay, got it.
So that's something else that I never use because when I'm teaching, I don't have the participants box open. And I don't want to have the participants box open. There's enough other stuff going on. So I want you to know that it's there. Okay, so we're going to start by going into breakout rooms. And many of you have been in breakout rooms, but you might not have been there as a participant if you were teaching, and others have not been in breakout rooms at all. So I want you to see what the experience is like for your students. I'm just going to give you a few minutes. Try to just introduce yourselves. I'll make the breakout rooms small, and I'll show you later how to get this kind of control. So we're going to have 3 people in a room. Introduce yourselves, where have you taught, and then try the ask for help button. So down when you're in the breakout room, down on your bottom toolbar, you'll see a question mark. When you click the question mark, it will send me a message saying so-and-so in breakout room number, whatever, is asking for help. If you're on a tablet, that in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, there will be a white circle with a question mark in it. And let's say, okay, here we go.
Wait,
yes.
You mentioned at the beginning that you were going to experiment with seeing more than 25. Did that work?
It completely did. I have, let's see, my math's not so good, 6 times
31 students now.
I see everybody, and there's room for another 5 students on my screen. So,
and that's something that you can set for yourself. Can your students also see everybody at once?
They,
possible?
everyone would have to set it for themselves.
And will you tell us how to do that?
It's sure, it's an option in settings, in Zoom settings.
Okay.
So in your account. Yeah, I hope never to be teaching 35 English language learners online at once. But this comes, yeah.
Right. So if you, as a host, can you hear what's happening in all of the hosts in the breakout rooms?
Oh, so you are my straight man. Thank you. This is my question. These are my questions for you. Where were you?
In a breakout room?
In a breakout
Room 4. Do you want us to say the room? Room 4.
Room 10.
Room
All
9.
right.
We show you 3?
That's right. You could show 8. Who could hear? Who could you hear?
The 2 other participants.
Linda and David.
We could see everybody.
Yeah, people in the breakout room.
Right now we have pictures of 4 people on the right side of the screen and this navigating chart on the left, and it's partially covered up by the pictures. Oh.
You can move the pictures.
You can
Move the
you
pictures.
can move the pictures.
Oh, okay.
Got it. Here we go. Thank you.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right.
Do that.
Hi, Rosemary. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
Hi, Brian. Good to see you.
You can move a lot on your screen, more than you think. So who could see and hear you?
How do I remove
I'm
it?
not moving him now.
Only the people in your breakout room could see or hear you.
Yeah.
So I could,
Help to know. You
As-
just too, and I need help.
as host, I could come into your breakout room. I could come into any of the breakout rooms I want, but there's no way for me to secretly be observing you or monitoring you or spying or any of that. I can't.
When you came into your breakout room, your picture would appear, so they would know
Yes.
you're there. Awesome. So it's just
Absolutely.
like, boom, you're there. Hello. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Co-hosts, Zoom has a capability of naming somebody or as many people as you want actually as co-host. I have come to the conclusion that being a co-host is largely a ceremonial title. Co-hosts do not have any power about breakout rooms. They cannot switch between breakout rooms by themselves. They cannot set up breakout rooms. When I have been co-teaching with somebody as host, I need to move them from one breakout room to another if that's what we want to do. And we just warn our students that if a teacher disappears from your breakout room without notice, it's nothing personal. It's just because I can't see what's going on in there. I'll just move them over.
And how do you create breakout rooms?
That I'd like to hold that question if you don't mind.
All right.
All right.
Question. Yep. Very good.
Yeah. All right. So let's do some more navigating. And this first one is not something that has anything to do with teaching, but a lot of people don't know it. And so I want you to try it on your computer. And this is toggling back and forth between different applications that are open on your computer. If you are on a Mac, your toggle is holding the Command key down and clicking the Tab key, and you should see it rotate through the different applications that are open. If you're on a Windows, it's holding the Alt key down and clicking Tab.
That's really nice. That's so much easier.
I love that. Is everybody able to make that work?
No.
No, the iPad does not have it.
No, the iPad, this is one of several reasons that teaching on an iPad, off an iPad is just more difficult. So if you're going to be running conversations, a conversation group, you might be able to do that from an iPad or a phone, but Zoom does not allow you to do breakout rooms from an iPad or iPhone or phone or any kind of tablet, and it sharing your screen as a whole is more complicated. Everything's a little bit more complicated with Zoom if you're not on a computer.
If I may,
Yeah.
Chromebooks used quite a bit.
Our students can participate in Zoom classes from Chromebooks or tablets or phones. We have a lot of students participating just from their phones. But for teaching and managing the screens and all that, not so much. All right, so now I am going to put a link into your chat box. Stop my screen share. And some of you, if you look in your chat, you'll see the link. Some of you will be able to just click on the link and have it active. Some of you will have to copy the link, go to your browser, your Chrome or Firefox or Safari, and paste the link into your browser. And you should be able to use those toggle keys to be able to get between Zoom and your browser.
So Linda, when you put the link in the browser, do you just copy the link and paste it in our chats?
Copy the link from chat, yep, and then go to your browser, paste it in, and click enter.
Linda, I don't have
No,
anything.
but when you are teaching us, how did you do it when you?
How did you put it in the chat?
Yeah, how did you put it in our chats, like the link?
Yeah, and you can try this. I just went to my browser, I copied the link, and then I pasted it in just like a message and clicked enter.
Oh, I see.
I think I lost mine. Oh.
Yeah, there, Leah has sent it back to us. So try just toggling back and forth from your browser to your to the Zoom screen. Can everybody?
And in my chat, I don't have anything. So what am I doing wrong?
Oh, okay.
In your chat, who was saying that? Chris?
Nothing.
You don't see anything in your chat?
No.
Try closing the chat window and then opening it again.
What to do, Jane?
Is everyone else okay on this one?
Yeah, Linda, I have a question. I had the lcivics.com site, the site open, and when I opened the link that you sent, my link went away because it was maybe using the same browser.
Yeah, if you don't want your link to go away, you have to open a new tab in your browser before you paste it in.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go into breakout rooms and have everyone practice sharing their screen and then coming back to the Zoom screen. And I'll show you a few things before we do that. So again, if you've been doing this, this could be very basic. I just want to get everyone at the same level. So you have your share screen is the big green button on the bottom. If you're on it for Alex on the iPad, it's going to be totally different. And I apologize, we're not going to go into that right now.
Okay.
All right, when you click that green button, you're going to get a pop-up screen like this. And there are three things to do on the pop-up screen. The first one is choose the window that you want to share. And depending what you have open, what applications you have open, you will have different things represented over here. There's a whiteboard. It has my phone, different ways to access my phone. At this point, don't work with a whiteboard yet. That's another something else that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But you can choose those organic vegetables or choose something else if you want to share your email with everybody if you like. Down in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, there's a box that says share computer sound. And at this point, we're not sharing videos, but if you're going to be sharing a video, you want to make sure to click that Otherwise, your students will not be able to hear the sound from your video. And then click the share button in the bottom right. And then once you're sharing your screen, you will see this toolbar up. Usually it appears first up at the very top of your screen.
After we do this, this is what's going to show up.
You can grab it, click down on the side of one of the buttons and drag it to a different part of the screen, which is important. If you want to navigate to a different tab on your browser. Well, this share screen menu bar is going to be covering that up. So you can just click on it and drag it away, put it on the bottom or put it somewhere where it's out of the way. Then when you're ready to stop share, you just click this big, beautiful red button. Right?
So should you have several, like if you have 3 different websites you want to access, should you have 3 separate tabs with those, and then that will show up when you want to access them? Or does it matter?
That's a great question, Nancy. Usually, I don't always know exactly what I'm going to be doing in a class beforehand. Things come up and I follow the thread, but right. I will try to open whatever tabs I'm planning, whatever websites or web pages or YouTube or whatever it is. I will try to have those open before class starts, just in case internet is slow or whatever. When you choose, when the share screen comes up, the top, generally, whatever is on top, if you have 3 tabs open on your Google Chrome, let's say, or on your Firefox, whatever is on top is what is going to show up on this screen. If you choose, right, oh, this I have 3 because I had 3 browsers open. I had my Firefox open and my Chrome and my Safari. That's the only reason we have 3 browser windows open. But within Chrome, I had multiple tabs open. Only the one that's in front shows up here. All right.
Linda,
so, yeah.
I have a question. So with that, if you wanted to do multiple websites and didn't want to have to go back and forth using the same browser, I could open 2 or 3 different kinds of browsers and have them all equally accessible then? Is that a good workaround for that?
You could absolutely do that, or you can just
doing that.
When you share,
I'm going to be using that.
way easier than that. When you're sharing your desktop, now you see my slide, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you see now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now you see my organic food.
Yep.
And now you see an exercise, and now you see something else. So within one browser, I have different tabs open, and because I have shared my desktop with you, I can just move between windows, between tabs within.
So are you toggling between or you just like you have the tabs open up there?
I have the tabs open, and I'm just clicking on
them. Okay, got it.
Clicking on them. Yeah, I'm not doing anything fancy there.
Note that doesn't work for multiple Microsoft Word windows. If you switch from one to the other, the students don't see the switch. You have to unshare and share the new one
okay.
in Microsoft Word.
Because with Microsoft Word, when you're sharing that document. Whereas here, I'm sharing my screen, my desktop, so you can see whatever I'm doing here. That screen, this screenshot, I can't remember what I was doing when I took this screenshot. I just happened to have 3 browser windows open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as we established before, when you're in the breakout rooms, you can't see what's going on in the main ballroom, which is where we are right now. And including this, if I'm giving students instructions in the main ballroom, and then I want them to go into breakout rooms, they're not going to be able to see the instructions when they're in there. I can broadcast messages into the breakout rooms like you saw, but I can't share a screen in breakout rooms unless I am physically, unless I am in the breakout room with the students. And so I usually have my phone right by me, but I don't have it here. I ask students to keep their phone by them, as I have asked you. And what I ask students to do is to take a picture of the screen that they see. If students are participating on their phones, this is more difficult. But if you have at least a few students who are participating on computers and they have a smartphone, they can take a picture of the instructions. And then when they go into breakout rooms, it usually happens that at least one student in the breakout room has taken a picture and has the instructions in there. So I give people a minute to take their pictures.
I need help when you're done. I forgot how to copy and paste.
Okay.
So I have that, but that's all I got.
All right. Okay, I'm going to stop share. I'm going to, let's see if we can, I'm going to recreate the breakout rooms, which I will show you how to do in a little bit. And we're going to put, oh, there we go. 2 participants in each breakout room. So, and what I'm asking you to do is take turns sharing your screen, going from one screen to another, moving the Zoom sharing bar, open a new browser window, just try navigating, doing what you would do within the browser, and the other person can give you feedback as to what they're seeing. When you're done, click stop share, that big red button, and then it's the other person's turn. Remember, you have the question mark. You can ask me if you want me to come visit, and you can leave the room at any time.
Linda, is it possible to have the list of things that we're supposed to try in the room and then we can take pictures?
There we go.
Okay. So those are the ones that you want us to practice.
Yeah. Take turns sharing your screen, move the Zoom sharing bar, open a new browser window and search for something, just an idea. Stop sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Ready?
Now we're back.
Now everybody's back. So those of you who came back out of your own free will, that you have that capability. You can leave the breakout room at any time, and just be careful not to also leave the meeting if that's not what you want to do.
Right.
Those who did not come back of their own free will saw that when your time is up, your time is up, and you could kick and scream, but you will be coming back to the main ballroom. I have and we'll see this a little bit, we'll see this next week. I have a timer set so that when I say close breakout rooms, everyone gets a 30-second warning, and that allows you sort of to tie up your conversations, hopefully, and whatever students were in the middle of. You can also set that timer for anything you want, 60 seconds, which I find to be too long, 15 seconds, which I find to be too short, and Goldilocks is right in the middle. Lisa, you raised your hand.
I did. I have a question. So because I have 2 monitors. So if you are just working with your laptop and you go in and share a screen, and let's just say you only have 1 tab open, it's automatically going to bounce to that tab, correct? And then you're going to see your people off to the right?
Generally, yes. However, okay. I love you're another straight man for me. And by the way, Lisa used the electronic raising your hand, and in case I missed it in the video boxes, I also, on my participant bar, I have a little box that came up that said Lisa raised hand. Whoops. Yes, I will absolutely be showing you how to set up breakout rooms and the pluses and minuses of doing it in different ways. That will be actually next week. I put it into next week because I want to have a lot of experienced breakout rooms first, and For people teaching small classes or one-on-one, it's really not important. I'm not going to use breakout rooms, so that's why I left it until next week. Okay, so if you are in full screen mode, and everyone now knows how to do that, right, with a little identifier in the top right-hand corner of your screen. If you're in full screen mode, while I'm sharing my screen or while you're sharing your screen, at the top of the bar of people, you'll see these options. And you can go ahead and play with them to see what they do.
Somehow I lost full screen.
I can't do anything. I see your screen, but I can't.
We all see your screen.
If you
How do I get back to full
if you
screen?
go into view options at the top,
You can do all those things.
you should have some options that allow you to see the people also.
Okay, so I don't
Well, I can see the strip of a few people on the side, but I
Yeah,
can't.
so then up above. So if you see 4 of us, then you just go straight up to the, like there's a blue, the blue is where we're
I
at.
see. Okay.
Thank you, whoever's writing.
Oh, I see.
These, okay. When you click if you click the grid, you can go down in one of the corners and grab it and expand. So I also have 2 screens, and when I'm looking sideways, it's because the screen of what I'm projecting is over here, and I have expanded so I can still see everybody on my main screen. All right, got that?
When I click on the gallery, I guess it's gallery view, I only get 6 pictures. Is that normal?
So Sister Ellen Cerise, at the bottom corners of that 6 box, click and hold and drag it out so you'll be able to see more.
Bottom corner.
So
Does that work?
somehow exited that. Is there a way to get back?
I stopped sharing my screen.
Oh,
okay.
Here you can see down at the bottom when you hover over it, you'll see little white lines, and that indicates that you can click on it and drag it to make it bigger, and when you make it bigger you can see more people.
Okay. Oh, it didn't work.
But that's in the grid view only.
In the grid view only, correct.
It is, but it just goes so 6.
You have to click and hold and then drag your mouse while you're holding it. Clicked.
it's got the normal arrow,
Mhm.
and then it changes.
Tell me again where you can raise your hand electronically, which is
Oh,
not
I
at the
see.
bottom.
Ah,
Oh,
Got it?
yeah, okay.
You can for me, the best way to raise your hand is just to pick up. You can do your left or your right.
Oh, I mean, I could do that, but I was just trying to figure out where it was electronically. I mean, it's not it's at the bottom. I can't find it. Anyhow, took a look.
It's
That's
go ahead,
okay.
Lisa.
It's
Okay.
participants on the bottom.
Yeah.
So yeah, you click the participants button.
Participant button.
Uh-huh.
So
you can see her.
I see it.
Kathleen's got it. Hi, Kathleen.
Here we go. I did it. Yes.
Good.
Oh, and by the way, while I have my hand is up, I'd like to thank Jim for his help in the breakout room. It was very helpful, and I just want to say thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome. You did great.
Yeah, well, I had a good teacher.
I want Jim in my room next time.
Jim is my secret weapon.
I'm glad I got him.
Okay, so we just have about 5 minutes left. I wanted to just run through a sample lesson. This is something pretty simple, but just for those who haven't been teaching online, to give you some ideas, start giving you some ideas of how you might put some of this into practice. For those who have been teaching online, maybe different ideas or reinforcement for ideas you've already been using. So I am going to share my screen. And this is a lesson for low-level learners. It's developing familiarity with I have and she, he has, and using kitchen object vocabulary. I find one of the great things about teaching people in their homes is you can ask them to go to their kitchen or beforehand and bring things like many of you have brought. So first I might start out with just a diagnostic and say, what do you have? What did you bring? What do you have? Ah. Do you know what that's called, Kathleen?
Linda, is this sharing your screen like whiteboard?
This is sharing my screen. And yes, Denny, what is that called?
I have a wooden spoon.
Sorry, Denny?
I have no idea. It's this wooden spoon with a hole in it.
We use that to spank our kids, but don't tell anybody.
Ah,
Oh.
probably a good thing I didn't have kids then.
Ryan, what do you have?
I have a water bottle.
Water bottle. Ron has a ice cream scoop.
Oh, ice cream.
Yes.
Old kind.
I use it a lot.
Oh, Amy, what is that called?
Pasta fork.
A pasta fork.
Mm.
Let's get one more. Chris, what is that called?
Package freshness clip.
Package freshness clip, really?
Or you could do the apple core, whichever you want.
Let's do the apple core.
Okay.
Okay, so I would start just by seeing what my students brought, and then so this is free and open, guided by whatever is interesting to them, whatever they brought to class. And this is the first time I have not seen a spatula. I've had lots of students want to know what a spatula is called. Then I have I brought some of my vocabulary, and I will say, okay, what is this? This is a
Nice.
Nice. Excellent, very good. And I purposely put these all in their own little boxes so that I could move them over. And what is it? What is this?
Pot.
Spatula.
There's a pot.
Spatula.
So Linda, are you in Google Slides right now, or on the whiteboard, or where are you in the virtual place?
I am in Google Slides.
Oh, is that what Google Slides looks like?
This is Google Slides. It's just like PowerPoint, except that it's online. And we'll talk later a little bit about the pros and cons of different kinds of docs. Personally, I like using Google Slides or Google Docs instead of PowerPoint or Microsoft Word, because at the end of class, I click the share button and I send a link to my students, and they have exactly what we did in class. It's just super, super easy.
It's called Google Docs?
Google Docs, DOCS. If you have a Gmail account, you have free access to it. And the Zoom provides a whiteboard, but that has its own disadvantages. Personally, someone asked me earlier when I was here, is this a whiteboard? This is what I call my whiteboard. It's a Google slide or a doc or a PowerPoint or a Microsoft Word, whatever kind of program you like. You have the flexibility. You can make the text big, especially since we have a lot of students participating on their phones. I try to use big, bold text, which Zoom whiteboard does not give you the option of doing. In Google Slides, I can move things around. I can draw lines if I need to, or circle things or whatever. Okay, then in this lesson, we'll make sentences with them. So I have a cup. What do you have?
I have a mug.
I have an ice cream scoop.
I have a cherry pitter.
Ooh. All right, so Go ahead.
I have tongues.
Ooh. All right. So this we would keep on doing this, but as we said before, we wouldn't have 35 people in a class. And then I might say, Pam has tongues. And now I can't remember who said what.
Well, I had the
Yes.
cherry pitter, but that's all right.
You had, oh right, the cherry pitter, sorry. And who has the tongues?
Connie.
Connie has tongues.
Tongues.
And so then we would talk about how I use have and she or he, Pam is she, uses has, she or he use has, and we would do a whole ton more sentences with she and he. And this is it. I would not start by teaching I, you, he, she, they, we. It's too confusing. There's too much. These are the ones that people are more likely to use at first. Let's just teach these, and we can get to we and they in a future lesson. But this is where I would start. So we started open, engaging, what's interesting to you. We went quite controlled. Students did not have to come up with the words themselves. They could see the words that were on here. We went then less controlled, but still very structured. I have, you have, right? A structure that we could just repeat over and over again and just put a new vocabulary word in. And then when the students are ready for it, we have less support and we can see, what do you see in this picture? She has a
whisk.
Whisk. She has a pot. If you wanted to go into stirring, you could, but I would probably stay there for this very focused lesson. I have another picture prepared where we would do the same thing. Also, it's the same kind of, exactly the same exercise as what we just did, but it's a different picture, but it's the same structure. So it's less controlled than we were before, but more controlled than just free form. Other things you can do with have and has. I have opened these links beforehand. We're not ready to do this one because we haven't taught we and they, but you could do this kind of any exercise that you could do online, and the students really get a kick when you check the answers and it says that you got 100% correct. This is a video where they asked, what do you have? I don't know why it says what is it, but it's what do you have? And this woman pulls all kinds of things out of her bag. I have, and she keeps saying, huh. Oh, they ask her, do you have a pen? I think I have a pen. And she looks into her bag and she pulls all kinds of weird stuff out there, like airplanes and things like that. And that's sort of the structure of the lesson, going from controlled to independent use of the function. Sometimes this whole structure is not within one lesson. It can take 2 or even 3 lessons, depending what skill you're teaching, to get from controlled to independent use. But this is one example of how you could do it using online tools.
Linda,
Questions? Yeah.
I have a question. Would we still be able to use that practice link that you had sent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Although you'll see that the homework is to make your own Zoom account if you don't have one yet, and to practice in that, but you can still use that practice link.
Okay.
Question, do I make my own lessons or do I have several sources? Yes and yes. So over the course of our 4 sessions, you'll see a number of different kinds of lessons that I use and different sources, and I will point you to anything you want.
Sounds good.
Other questions?
Can we access the video that you had today, or will that be later?
So thanks for the question. We're sorry, we're a few minutes over time, so we're going to wrap up, and then I will stay on for anybody who has more, wants to ask more questions or has wants to stay and listen. But what I'm going to send you probably tonight is a link that has a copy of this video, a copy of my slides from today, and some homework that hopefully you'll be able to get to do before Wednesday. As I tell my students, if you don't have time to do the homework, I still would like you to come to class. You'll just get a little more out of class if you do your homework first.
That's true.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Stick
you,
around
Linda.
if you have more
Thank you.
questions.
Thank you.
Bye, Linda.
See you
Thanks,
Wednesday.
Linda.